What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is John Scott Won't Stop. I am a second generation hairstylist. I've been doing hair for the better part of 2 decades, and I'm here to share the knowledge I've gained throughout my years in the industry with you. We're just going to jump right into today rather than getting into a whole thing. So before we do that, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, set your notifications so that way you don't miss any videos. I was planning initially on doing a blow dry video this week, but it's been muggy out. It's just not been really blow dry weather, hence me wearing a hat today. Um, but instead, I thought I would show you guys how to do a deep dive on your own ingredient list and then probably do the blow dry video next week when it cools down a little bit. If it doesn't cool down a little bit, then I'll just film the entire thing in the salon. So what I'm going to show you is how to use a specific website that I've been using for probably the better part of 2 years now. Before, my grandfather had given me a little pocket dictionary of ingredients. He was a pharmacist, so he had that on him. And when I would stock like the shelves or dick around with the shelves at my mom's shop, I would read the ingredients on bottles, try to pronounce everything, and I started asking questions. The one ingredient that always stood out to me for some reason back in the 90s was triethanolamine, which is a pH balancer. So that's just like a weird little memory I have with my deep dive into ingredient lists and me becoming a product junkie, as people call it. Currently, for those that are wondering, right now I am using, I think I just ran out, Living Proof Perfect Hair Day shampoo and conditioner. Uh, Prior to that, and probably now until I go pick up some more, I use the Sexy Hair Strengthening Shampoo and Conditioner. Today, I'm going to go over 3 shampoos. Well, 4 shampoos, but 3 of them can be found on the site. And the fourth one, I'm going to show you how to check the ingredient list on your products when they aren't just already searchable in the site that I use out the gate. Now, don't go run into your bathroom and go get your different shampoos and conditioners and products, because I'm going to show you a way to do this without having to grab everything out and type each one in individually. Sometimes finding ingredients lists online can be hard, and usually that's a red flag for me. Not always, but can be. So today we're going to be working with incidecoder. That's INCIDECODER.com. You may have seen me use this on my video that I will put up above for my living proof review. Now, incidecoder, uh, their their mission statement, I don't know what you would call it, their tagline, that's it, is decode ingredients list like a pro. And really, truly, what's great about this website, and this is not a sponsored video, but incidecoder, if you ever want to sponsor me, hey, my contact information is down below. Um, this is great because not only does it allow you to like see what ingredients are in your products and like kind of like what they are, but it does it an even deeper dive where it explains how they work and what they do to your hair a little lower on. There's a rating system and it has about 4 different ratings. There is icky, which is just a bad product. Typically, these are going to be perfumes and whatnot, which there's a caveat to that in a minute. There's a couple caveats here. There's like no rating there, which is just basically neutral. You have a goodie, which is like a good beneficial product. And then you have a superstar, which is like really, really good for the hair. So sometimes you're going to find an ingredient that you don't like. Like I'm not a big fan of sodium C14-C16. And just recently learned it was in one of my favorite shampoos and conditioners, the strengthening shampoo and conditioner. That's not why I switched over to Living Proof after the review. I just fell in love with it. However, if you go through the ingredients list of the strengthening shampoo and conditioner, which I won't be going over today because I took some requests from you guys over on my TikTok, uh, you see that there's a ton of good ingredients plus a superstar ingredient. And honestly, there are going to be times where there are certain uh, ingredients I don't budge on. I usually have a general rule of thumb, but those can be broken here and there. Like no sulfates, but there are certain sulfates that are okay, or if the quality is high enough, it's all right as well. So what we're going to do today, or what I meant to say with that, is that sometimes it's a trade-off. Sometimes you have to take a not so great ingredient because you're getting so many other good ones. Or sometimes like all the ingredients are neutral, but it's just the combination of those ingredients together make the product really well. So that's a little bit more complicated in understanding. You kind of need to be a chemist to understand that. I personally don't understand how that works fully because that's not my area of expertise. But we can just jump right into this and start out decoding the ingredients list on some of your requested products. I'm going to focus mainly only on shampoos and conditioners today. They're just kind of like the foundation to all hairstyling, and it's really going to be what is going to determine the condition of your hair from like just a general perspective. Um, so the first product up that people asked for was the Olaplex shampoo and conditioner. We'll just do like a shampoo of one, a conditioner of another, because I have Olaplex, Lush, Nexus, and then Kenra Platinum. And I put Kenra Platinum in there for a reason, and we'll get to that a little bit later. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to incidecoder.com, which is INCIDECODER. And in the search bar, you can see all the different things I've looked up. You're going to type in Olaplex. You're going to get a list from this ingredient list, and you're going to see all the different products that Olaplex carries. Now, you can type the full name of the shampoo, the specific one, in there to see if it pops up. But really, it's just easier to type in the brand name and then look for it in the list of what they have from that brand. Because you might be inputting the name specifically the way it's on the bottle, but somebody else that may have suggested it or put it in here didn't do it exactly that way, and they may have their own little code that they work with. So we're going to go to the Olaplex number 4 Bond Maintenance Shampoo. We're going to take a look at it. So when you open it up, it's going to give you an ingredients overview. It's going to give you an image. It's going to tell you what the product is. Now this is just out the gate. The ingredients overview is exactly what you see on the back of a bottle. And I believe the further down the ingredient list, the less of that ingredient that is actually in the formula. So a lot of the times you'll see a lot of the ickies at the bottom, and those usually preservatives or perfumes. And a lot of the time those are fine. If you have a sensitive scalp, like check into perfumes because that might be a problem, or like go see your dermatologist and see if there's other underlying conditions there. So as you move on past the ingredients overview, you're going to go to the highlights. Highlights would be, not all of them have this. This is for the ones that they have saved. The key ingredients, they're antioxidant, rosemary leaf extract, lapa root extract, great skin identical ingredients, which means they're good for both skin and hair. Glycerin, which is actually a superstar ingredient, I'm pretty sure. Sodium hyaluronate, which I believe is a derivative or we'll find out in a minute, has hyaluronic acid properties to it, which helps retain moisture and pull moisture into the skin. Then you have panthenol, which in a recent live, I looking at like 8 different things, and I was like, panthenol is a silicone, because I was looking at Pantene, heard panthenol, was thinking Pantene is mostly silicone, and somebody in my chat function was like, hey, that's actually a vitamin. And I was like, what? Oh, yeah, panthenol is a vitamin. Like fully not paying attention. And I always appreciate it when people correct me. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect. But yeah, I was just caught up in everything else. So then it has like the soothing. So panthenol, which is a vitamin, is soothing. Rosemary leaf extract, soothing. Lapa root extract, soothing. So then you go to a skim through. Now with this skim through, it'll give you the ingredient name, what it does. It's irritation and I can never say this. Commatogenicity. Nope. Commatogenicity, I think is how you say it. We're just going to say not that. I'll figure something out. And then your irritancy, right? And then it has the ID rating. The ID rating will tell you if it's like an icky ingredient, a neutral ingredient, good ingredient, or superstar ingredient. So if you come down to the skim through, it has this little more link right here. You click on that and it will expand. So it will tell you everything on the products. You have your sodium lauryl, you have your cocamide propyl, you have your potassium, you have your disodium, and these are solvents, surfactants, cleansing agents, so on and so forth. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cleansing, 8 cleansing, 9, 10, 11 cleansing agents. There's a lot of cleansing agents in this. I feel like it's a little overkill. I'm not a chemist, but that feels like a lot of overkill. I've seen many products that I prefer over this one. Okay, so for me, Olaplex shampoos and conditioners, they feel a little gritty to the touch. They almost kind of remind me of Verb. Verb feels a little bit more gritty to the touch. I'm not a huge fan of Olaplex. I do use Olaplex once in a while, but it's only when someone's come to me with super, super damaged hair and they need a treatment or something along those lines, or they need a correction and it's going to require me using the Olaplex to protect the hair and maintain as much integrity as possible. But what I don't like about Olaplex is it encourages younger stylists to push the limits of the hair, and it's not bulletproof. And this can lead to a lot of errors and mistakes at the expense of the client themselves. And then, you know, the young stylist beats themselves up over it because they've listened to each other and not really learned to do hair without the crutch that is Olaplex. Now we have K18 on the market, which I'm starting to play with K18 and getting to know the behavior and the personality of that brand a little bit more. And when I have more information and I feel fully confident I've gotten it worked out, I'll speak to you guys about K18, as I know that was one requested products that we go over. I'm going to try to keep this video short today, and I'm going to try to keep as minimal editing involved. So the first so many ingredients here are neutral. And then the first one after that is icky. That doesn't mean anything. That's just the fragrance. You go a little further down, you got the goodie. That's a moisturizer. These 0 zeros are telling you how much of the irritancy and the comma, that word, glycerin, superstar ingredient, like I thought, panthenol, goodie ingredient. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goodie, 6, 7, 8 goodie ingredients. It looks like once, maybe 9. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goodie ingredients, 1 superstar, and 4 ickies. So according to what I prefer to see in an ingredient list, there's a lot more goodie and superstar here and neutrals than there are bad or icky ingredients. So this is something that I wouldn't actually have a problem recommending to somebody. I do have others that I favor over it, but if this is what was available, or if someone's already using this, I would say go for it. It's okay to use. And then when you go a little further down past that breakdown, you have all the ingredients explained. So here you can see it's explaining water, mainly a solvent for ingredients. You have a very mild cleansing agent, sodium lauryl methyl. It's probably in the same family as sodium lauryl sulfates and lauryl S sulfates, but it's not an actual sulfate, so that's okay. There are some sulfates that are fine, like myra sulfate, the color molecule. The cleansing molecule is too large to penetrate the hair or get underneath the cuticle layer, so it just tends to cleanse the surface. The lifting of the cuticle or the roughing of the cuticle is usually why we don't like sulfates, as they tend to degrease the hair, which strips the hair of the natural oils that the hair does need to maintain a healthy cuticle layer. So, and then it goes into tocamidopropyl, and then you click more, and it gives you all the other ingredients and what those ingredients do. The more you see these ingredients, the more often you see these ingredients, you start to recognize them and understand what's in them. Usually when you see, like, I can typically look at the back of a product and I'm like, oh, surfactant, this is a cleanser. Or, oh, moisturizer, this is a conditioner. Like, you can usually tell like what a product is based on their ingredient list once you've gotten a little bit more familiar with them. So now, a lot of people were scared for me to do this one. We're going to go back up to the search bar and we're going to look up Lush. Okay. So we're going to go with Lush. I'll just pick any one of them. The Big Shampoo. Now, again, you can use this for sodium chloride. Already, Lush is not, the Big Shampoo is not safe for keratin services. So if you have keratin services, you want to stay away from this product. I'm already not loving it, just based on what I'm seeing here. Core sea salt, that's sodium chloride. That is not keratin safe. Sodium lauryl sulfate, again, not keratin safe. Seawater, not so bad, but also not keratin safe. Okay, I'm really curious to see how many ickies, how many goods, how many neutrals, and how many goodies are on here. So again, ingredients overview. We go to the highlights, extra virgin coconut oil, sodium lauryl sulfate. I wouldn't call that a highlight, but hey, whatever. Like I said, it could be high quality. There could be technology behind the one that they are using that makes it not as harsh on hair, but typically sulfates aren't color safe. If there was a company like Redken that has a color shampoo, like a color protecting shampoo that has sulfates in it, then it was designed to work with their color line. So that's just something to keep in mind. Don't go throwing out all your shampoos. But this gives you the highlights, and then we're gonna just get into it. So yikes. Yikes. So the commodity just is high. The irritancy is not so high. Commogenicity is its ability, I think, to affect the skin acne wise. I believe that's what that means. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do know what it means. Those that do know, go ahead and correct me in the comments below. Yikes. So it's neutral, 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 neutral. One good product, a good ingredient, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ickies, and then 2 more neutrals. This is like more neutral and bad ingredients than it is good ingredients. I'm sorry if you guys were like hoping and loving the idea of Lush, but as far as I see this, I'm not saying they're a horrible company. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like I said, their technology could be made in a way that the more the ingredients that I personally don't like the sodium chloride and the lauryl sulfate, those might be technology that are just really well done. But and it's mostly perfumes and solvents and stuff like that towards the end. My concern is that there's just like one goodie in here and there's not a bunch of different ingredients, because like most of it, it's just like this infusion, that infusion, lime juice, citrus. So that's going to help the hair lay down, the cuticle layer lay down, because alkalis usually like lift our cuticle, and then acidics usually seal our cuticle, and lime is acidic. I think lime holds like a pH level of 2 when the hair is supposed to be between 4.5 and 5.5, so like roughly 5. Not everyday table salt, most common cleansing ingredient of all, a degreaser. That's chief bubble officer, so they call it. It's known to make the stuff suds up. But like I said, you can take any cheap shampoo off the shelf and throw it on the floor and it'll set up. Fatty acid, coconut oil, which is good. Essential oil. Like no description for this ingredient yet. It's, to me, like I personally would not recommend this to my own guests. Not to say that it's a bad company. I just firsthand looking at the ingredients overview, I was like, absolutely not. This would not work for any of my clients. So there's Lush. Now let's move on to Nexus, which is a little bit more obtainable, as it is, I would say, an over-the-counter product. It's not something we really sell in salons. You're more likely to buy it at a grocery store or like, you know, Ulta or something like that. Like I don't know many companies that would carry Nexus. But let's look at the lightweight moisture, Hydrolite weightless moisture shampoo. No, this one has a description. Nexus Hydrolite shampoo for oily hair is the best lightweight shampoo for frizzy hair and oily hair. This weightless shampoo leaves hair soft and supple. Ingredients overview. Not horrible. Sodium chloride, sodium lauryl sulfate. It's just not keratin safe. Tocopherol acetate, that's a decent. Hydrolyzed wheat protein, that's good. But if there's a hydrolyzed wheat protein in here, I believe that if you have celiac disease or a gluten allergy, you're to avoid it. So keep that in mind. I believe. I could be wrong there. Don't quote me. I'm not a doctor. It's outside of my scope of competence. Highlights, antioxidant, exfoliant, skin brightening. So that's going to be one of those what's it called? Skin identical or something like that. Panthenol soothing. So let's jump in. Oh, look at that. We got this is actually better than Lush. So you have 2 superstars. Not bad. Nexus coming through. Look at that. Still wouldn't recommend it to my guests because, again, it has sodium lauryl sulfate and has sodium chloride in it, which are typically like big no-nos for me. Hydrolyzed keratin. that surprises me, because if you have a sulfate in there and sodium chloride in there, those both work against keratin. So I'm curious to how they made that work. Every keratin smoothing service will tell you to avoid sodium sulfate, sodium lauryl sulfate, ammonium lauryl sulfate, ammonia lauryl, any sulfate really, and then also sodium chloride. But they have hydrolyzed keratin in there. It maybe is to put back the keratin that they are kind of stripping with those products, whatever. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 goodies, superstars, which is not very common, and 1, 2, 3, 4 ickies, and the rest neutral. Overall, I would recommend this over Lush. If you're looking for an over-the-counter shampoo and conditioner, then I would honestly say the Hydrolyteless Moisture Shampoo would be the way to go. So that one's good. And now let's just move on to the Kenra Platinum. All right, guys, I know I've changed. My hair's down. I'm not wearing this hat anymore. I'm a little glistening because it's warm in here. AC going in the other room. I can't wait to step into it. Anyhow, as I was editing this video, I realized I cut the sound out for this section on accident. So it's a learning process. This part, I'm going to show you what to do when you search for your product and it does not show up on the incidecoder website, and how you can check the ingredient list on your products without having to like go get your product and like type in every single individual ingredient. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you real quick. We're going to do Kenra Platinum. We're going to just put in the name of the brand because that's what I've been showing you guys how to do. The only thing that comes up is the blow dry spray, which is chef's kiss. It really doesn't have anything great in it, but for some reason, it's one of the best heat protectants for blow dries on the market. Up to 428 degrees of heat protection. It helps dry your hair up to 50% faster. It has argan oil in it, jojoba oil in it. So it's really, really good. But as you can see, there is no shampoo or conditioner. And we're going to be looking at the Luxe shampoo and conditioner. So what we're going to do here is I've already searched it out online. So I'm just going to go to Google, search it out. And this is where I found the product, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to the Leader Duo, go to the ingredients, and here we have the ingredients for the products. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Kenra shampoos and conditioners. I do absolutely love their styling line, though. The Kenra Platinum styling line is chef's kiss, smells amazing, all of that. I think that Kenra like could have done better with their marketing for their smooth system, which was a amino acid Kerazyme system that had your hair bone straight. You could get it wet that night, lasted 44 washes. Nobody ever would regret it. It was like supposed to be non-chemical, and the shampoo and conditioner that went with it was Kenra Smooth, and that was the only shampoo I've ever seen that anybody could just wash their hair and go, like wash, condition, and leave the house. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna Command C on a Mac, Control C on a PC, and then we're going to go back to incidecoder after we have copied the ingredients. We're going to paste those ingredients with Command V or Control V into the search bar, and it's going to bring up, just like all the other products, an ingredients overview. However, we're not going to see the product on there, the name of the product, or the description of the product. We're just going to have an ingredients overview for now. Sodium C14 and 16 is probably, it's not something that I love, but if there is plenty of good, like I said, sexy hair shampoo and conditioner has sodium C14, 16 in it. And that's not great, but it has a ton of good ingredients and a superstar ingredient in there. So it's kind of a trade-off. Here, we see sodium C14 and 16. So we'll see if going through, we're going to see more goods and superstar ingredients in there. So now we're going to go into the highlights. Glycerin, that's a superstar. Panthenol, that's really good. We're going to go to the skim through and more. So again, you have the 2 ickies, 2 goodies, 1 superstar, the rest neutral. Nothing to write home about. Again, this is not something I would personally recommend to anybody. Also, I'm seeing right here sodium hydroxide, which I know is neutral, but sodium hydroxide is, I believe, one of the active ingredients in Drano. It's a softener. I know it says buffering, but it does soften. It's also the active ingredient in one of, but not all, relaxers. So I believe, I could be wrong, sodium chloride's in here, so it's not keratin safe. And then you got some preservatives. I'm surprised the preservatives don't have any ickies next to it. So not something that, not this shampoo would I recommend. Not all of their shampoos are going to have the same ingredients, obviously, but their Lux Shine shampoo, probably not for me. Not to say that it's not great for you. Again, a whole bunch of neutral ingredients mixed together could probably be like the best product in the world. But personally, because of the sodium hydroxide in there, the sodium chloride, which is not keratin safe, and the C14, C16, the glycerin is not going to be enough to sell me on it. I can find glycerin in other products that are probably less expensive, that have way more goods and way more superstars in it than what we're seeing here. So that is how you're going to look up the ingredients. Then you can go down again. The ingredients are explained: water, sodium. I should have just, I'm like, oh, what does sodium hydroxide do? And I looked it up on Google. I just wanted to check and make sure it was an ingredient in what I was claiming that it was an ingredient in. So as you can see, going through the list, sodium hydroxide, a fancy name for it is lye. It's a solid white stuff that's very alkaline and is used in small amounts to adjust the pH level of a product, hence the buffering, and make it just right. I believe triethanolamine is another pH balancer. Let's find out, because that's triethanolamine. Okay, so I didn't spell it right. Helper ingredient that helps to set the pH of a cosmetic formulation to be just right. So it's very alkaline, opposite of being very acidic. 1% of the solution has around pH level 9. Now, so triethanolamine was the number one ingredient that would stick out to me when I was going through different products in my mom's salon growing up. And that's what led me to asking my grandfather, a pharmacist, about like, what is this ingredient? What is that ingredient? And he gave me this, and I wish I still had it. This little pocket dictionary of ingredients for cosmetics. And that kind of like set me on my path to being a product junkie. And now I'm able to like kind of share this information with you. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you like this kind of, it's so on here. Hopefully you guys like this kind of content. This will be really, really great for younger stylists, junior stylists that are just starting to figure things out. This is also a great way for you to check to see what you're putting in your hair. If you are recommended a product from a friend, you can check it out. I wouldn't be obnoxious sitting in your stylist chair and they're like, try this. And you're like, hold on. And you pull it up on your phone. Just tell them like, I'll think about it, or, listen to them. Usually they know, but you can check your favorite products. Now, again, you don't have to run into your bathroom and go grab those products. You can just simply look them up online. You can see if that the site is already have them preloaded. You can go search them out and look up their ingredient list, copy and paste their ingredient list into the search bar, and it'll give you an overview, a quick breakdown, and then it'll tell you exactly what each product does. So this is a way for you to stay informed with what you're putting in your hair so you can, decode like a pro. See what I did there? Yeah, I think it's important that everyone knows what they're putting in their hair, especially when you have like people promoting products that you're like, is it just because they're promoting it, or is it like actually good for people? And I mean this like QVC, all that stuff. So thank you guys for joining me. If you want to see more content like this, where I show you kind of how to find your ins and outs, understand what you're putting in your hair, how like a service works. If you guys want to know the ins and outs of a service or how to formulate color or whatever, you let me know down below, and I will try to make a video explaining whatever it is you're after as best possible. Again, blow dries are coming up soon. I've been air drying, as you can tell by this frizzy mess, and it's been really super humid out. Usually humidity doesn't actually have any effect on my hair, but I didn't put a whole bunch of product in my hair today. I just used the Kenra blow dry spray. I even do it when I air dry. It helps it air dry faster. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I appreciate all of you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell, set your notifications so you don't miss any videos. And I will see you guys next time.